Hi, and welcome to EDMU 520. This is Language and Literacy for the K-8 Classroom Part 1. 520 focuses particularly on early literacy and K-3 instruction. Recently, the California Teaching Commission changed their TPEs, so they updated the teacher performance expectations. So now all of our methods courses had to reflect these new TPEs. So we just decided now was a good time to completely revise 520 and 521. With that, Blackboard also got an update, so you're going to notice some changes in Blackboard as well. As each of the methods courses, which are those 520 courses, as each of them gets their revision and their updates done, you're going to notice that it's all going to be done in Google. And while at first it might be challenging to get used to the switch, it really is better in the long run, because then if we need to make a quick change or an update, we just do it on the master copy and all of the courses will reflect the change immediately. So I'm going to take some time to walk you through 520, look at some of the new assignments and the new formats of Blackboard. As usual, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. All right, we are in the Course Information tab. And I want to first show you the instructor resources. This particular shell is the online version. There are not that many differences between the online and the blended version. I tried to note both of them so we didn't have too many different documents going in. The major difference is that with the learning activities for a blended course, you can do more of those in class, in your 3-hour class meeting, while the online students need to go through those on their own. So let's look at the Instructor Resources tab. You'll notice everything in this course has been updated. So you can go through the new documents. See, I think you're already going to see how different the new Blackboard looks, especially when you embed Google Documents. It's kind of nice. You can see it right there without having to open anything up, but yet you can still open it up, and I'll show you that. I wanted to bring your attention to this link here, the CII Faculty Support. And what it is it's a link to our Center for Instructional Innovation. And you may or may not know, but as an instructor here at Brandman, you have access to all of these trainings. So if you want to become more familiar with Blackboard, there are Blackboard suggestions. If you are, kind of overwhelmed by all this Google, integration, you can take some Google applications training. So just know that this is here. And if you want to spend some time to take some of these additional trainings, I think it will help you be more comfortable. All right, so going back to just the Course Information tab, we're going to spend most of our time here. You have that section for you to fill in the welcome message and your instructor bio. So, course at a glance. This is kind of nice. Students can scroll through this. Now, many of our students like to print this out and copy it, so that's easy to do as well. So you click on the link here, and it will open the Course at a Glance in Google, because all of these documents were done in Google. And you can do a few things from this point. If the student prefers to work in Google, they can. They can make a copy of this document just by going to File, make a copy, and then they can save it to their own Google Drive. You will always have to have students make a copy, because all of the documents are for view only and not for them to edit, because obviously if they edit, they would be editing the master copy, and then those edits would show up everywhere, which would be a nightmare. So I'm really hoping everything is view only. There are other options here too. If you go to File and Download As, which isn't doing that for me, but there we go. You can download it as a Microsoft Word document, a PDF file, and save it like that. So I know many of our students are still more comfortable with Microsoft Word. They can save everything as a Microsoft Word document, no problem. You can also print the document from here. Okay, so there are lots of options once they open that. Let's look at the assignments and points. A lot of things have changed. I think you're going to like the changes in the content of this course. I slowed down the tutoring project. So instead of hitting the ground running right away, you actually have a few weeks to get students acclimated and give them some more background of instruction in the course before they start tutoring. So there are the usual suspects. The IRIS module, I do believe, was in the last version. Now they are going to be using that Zerillo textbook that we have had in the past, and they're going to create their own study guide using Google Slides, and I will show you that in just a second. Every methods course, whether it's 520, 521, 523, 524, they all have to have a Google tool integrated in it. So for this one, it's Google Slides. The phonics lesson observation. So now our candidates are going out and watching a phonics lesson in action. 2T action plan. This assignment takes the place of that instructional intervention plan from 520 before, where they find their strengths and needs and then come up with some goals. So it's a little different, but it achieves the same purpose. There's also a RECA exam practice essay as an assignment in this course, and then of course the tutoring project. So let's take a look at each of those in the file here: assignment descriptions, rubrics, and evaluations. So again, you'll see all of the rubrics here. They can print them out. They can just leave them in here and look at them. You can print them out. You can copy and paste them however you want to do it. So this 2T action plan, this is going to be an assignment not only in 520 but in 521 as well, just in case you teach that too. It's pretty simplistic. So they're gathering assessment data through various formats: an interview with a teacher, various interest inventories, and then they're also administering the basic phonics skills test. And so they just have to answer these questions, fill that out, and come up with tutoring goals. Okay, so it just gives you an idea of what your candidate will be doing with their 2T and to make sure that they're on the right track before week 7 and 8, right? All right. Let's take a look at this RECA assignment on Google Slides. The RECA is broken down into competencies. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong thing here. Let me go back. All right, it's not here. All right, so this is the RECA essay. So we'll just talk about that. It's pretty self-explanatory. They have to stay within that word limit. It's structured very much like the actual RECA exam. And then the rubric is structured very much like the rubric that they use on the RECA exam. All right, so let's take a look at the tutoring project. This is pretty significantly different from the one we've had in the past. So there's different parts to this. Let me just make this a little bigger. All right, so the first part is they have to interview a K3 teacher about a student who is struggling in reading. There are a lot of elements in these assignments that align with the new TPAs, the teacher performance assessments that they have to complete during their student teaching. So throughout the methods courses, we prepare them for these exams, even though they don't realize it. So a lot of these words that are in here, and you're like, why did she put that? It's because of the language that's used in the TPAs, and they need to be familiar with it by the time they get there. I have simplified the assessments. I think many of you will probably be grateful about that. For both 520 and 521, you can use interest inventories. And then the basic phonics skills test is the main assessment for 520. There's a link to it right here. Anytime you see this blue, you can click on it. Yes, you can. I promise you. And then this one has a digital administration option too, which is kind of nice. If they want it, they can administer this on an iPad or something. And then after they interview the teacher, use the interest inventories, and then administer the basic phonics skills test, then they fill out that background information action plan form, which I showed you. Now, for this tutoring project, they're preparing and teaching 3 lesson plans, just 3. All right, and they do have to fill out the tutoring session log. And then the tutoring project report is still the signature assignment. It's a 2 to 4 page paper, so it's a little bit shorter. There are some prompts for the questions and analysis and reflection. Now, in addition to that 2 to 4 page paper, they have to submit those 3 lesson plans. And those 2 parts are now the signature assignment. So the 3 lesson plans and the 2 to 4 page paper. So you see this tutoring project is smaller than what it used to be, and it's smaller than the one that they'll find in 521. But I think this is good. They can start a little bit later in the course and kind of get their feet wet before really delving in to 521 with the bigger one. You'll notice their lesson plan is different template. I like this one. Can't really see. I guess I can open it here. We're going back to having the reflections right at the bottom of the lesson plan. It just makes sense, right? So they write the reflection there. Okay, this is really pretty straightforward. All right. Okay, again, there's that phonics observation rubric that they'll be doing. Okay, I did want to talk to you about the Google Slides. And let's look at week 2. Okay, so this is set up the same. You have your learning activities. They have all been updated. All of the learning activities have been updated. I tried to find very practical and relevant resources for our candidates. And then the assignments here. Okay, all of the discussion prompts have been changed. Every one. Okay, so let's look at what students will be doing. And this is actually an assignment that starts in 520 and continues to 521. And they're really creating this amazing resource that they can then use to study for on the RECA. So this assignment goes for 5 weeks, and each of those weeks is worth 6 points, and they're creating 2 to 3 slides based on the competency that is assigned that week. And there's a list of requirements and then the point value next to it. Very simple to grade. Do they have this? Okay, good. students go into Google, into a Google Drive, their Brandman email is a Google email. So they don't need to create a Google account. They don't need to create a Gmail account. Their mail at Brandman, or their at mail.brandman.edu email will work as a Google account. So once they're in Google Drive, they just click on New. So I'm going to go to Google Slides here. And if they've done a PowerPoint, then Google Slides will be pretty easy. And I just wanted to briefly show you how they would submit it. So, of course, my computer is running ridiculously slow right now. All right. So I'm just going to type something. I'm going to, all right, so they can share. And they want you to be able to comment on it. So I'm going to click on Get Shareable Link. So right now it says anyone at Brandman University with the link can view. Now they're only giving you the link. So they're going to change that to edit, only because you want to be able to write some comments. Some of you might want to write comments right in there, although some of you might just want to write them in the comment box where you grade it. And then you copy the link and you're done. And now you just go into Blackboard where the assignment is and you submit the link in the assignment box or the comment box, either way. But if you wanted to comment right directly in, say, you know, their definition wasn't quite right, you can do that from here on one of these. Insert. So it's insert comment, and you can comment right here. I didn't understand your definition. Okay, and then they can resolve them and it disappears. Or like I said, it might be easier for you just to write the comments in the actual Blackboard grade box. All right, so that's that assignment. Okay, the other big thing are the textbooks. The textbooks just had to change because we really wanted to focus 520 on K3 literacy, K3 instruction. And so we found a textbook that focused on early literacy. It's really great. It's a good textbook. I think you'll like it, but of course it's new. And with anything new, there's an adjustment period. And then we are keeping the Zorilla book. Okay? So those are the major points for 520. As you go along and you see anything, please let me know. I can change things very quickly from my end now because everything is in Google, and I would love to hear your suggestions, but do give it time. It takes a little bit of time to get adjusted to a new format and new content. So again, thank you all for teaching this, and I look forward to working with you this year.